Shalom, giving all praise to Yahawah, Rawchaa, Qadash, and Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Back at you with another one. I'm going to entitle this video, Any Man That Fill Out the Truth Will Be Cast into the Lake of Fire. Straightforward. Anyway, you see on the screen before you, Luke 9, verse 62, I'll read it. And the Lord, Yahawashi, said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. And Yahawashi said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom. So if you're not fit for the kingdom, meaning you're not going to be delivered, that's what it means. So you turn your back on the plow, you're not going to make it, because the kingdom starts with the deliverance. The kingdom is already here. What I mean by that is the Israelites are here, waking up to the fact that they're Israelites. Ezekiel 37, there I go quoting Ezekiel 37, speaks about the dry bones coming together. That's the beginning of the kingdom of heaven. And you have these heathen nations and Christians that are bucking up against it because, you know, they've been on top since Columbus, since the Renaissance period, when he was loosened out of that after that 1,000-year reign, or our reign, you know, the Byzantine Empire. That's when we was in power. We were in power, excuse me, and then they came back into power. So, you know, they've been in power for 500 years, approximately. From even more than 500 years, but we use the term 500 years. Ultimately, when Christopher Columbus came to the other side of the planet, that was the true beginning of their reign and their rebirth. That's why you understand that term Renaissance, which means rebirth, meaning you were dead and you were born again. So they were born again. The end of the 1400s up until now. So we're talking, well, 1492, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So well over 500 years. You know, Revelation 20 says you're going to, well, it says, in not so many words, they're gonna rule for a little space. They're gonna be loose for a little space, a season, and that's 500 some odd years. So, in them dying, they're dying little by little, like the Canaanites in Deuteronomy chapter 7. It says the Most High will take out the Canaanites little by little. It says something to the effect, so the animals won't come in. Merely paraphrasing, I'm not quoting it exactly. So they had to be taken out in measure. They had to be killed off in measure, and they had to be pushed out in measure. And we had to occupy those places in measure, little by little. So the same thing goes for this man, Esau, their leader Esau. He has to be taken out little by little. So the clock started ticking. The clock started ticking. I already know what some of y'all are thinking. Blood in, blood out. The clock is ticking, if you know what I'm talking about. But the clock started ticking to the downfall of this man, really in 1969, 1970, 1971. Why do I say that? It says, when they set their nets among the stars, thence will I bring thee down. So when did they set their nests in the stars? The satellites, the space race was in the 60s. What is it, 68, 69, 70, 71? And they do have satellites up in the sky, which we're using. The Most High set us up to use their technology to push this word. So they're going to hang with their own noose, so to speak. Their noose is their technology to hang us, but the Most High is going to make them hang themselves with their own technology, which are the missiles. So anyway, the Most High power, Yahawah Bashem Al-Shai Bashem Qadash, he works with prophecies. He tells men which are prophets what's going to happen. It could happen in the prophet's lifetime. It can happen after the prophet dies. It could happen 1,000 years after the prophet. It could happen more than 2,000 years. These prophecies, of Isaiah, Jeremiah, the various Ezekiel, Obadiah, these men lived more than 2,000 years ago, or long before the Messiah came on the scene. So their prophecies, a lot of them were prophecies that happened in their lifetime, shortly after their death, or some years after their death. But some of these prophecies are yet to come to pass. And we're living in the midst of the last few prophecies. And you know what the major one is before the deliverance and the destruction comes. It's the MOTB, which camps don't teach it. They can't see it because the Most High didn't open their eyes up to it. So, in Matthew 25, there was a great, at midnight, there was a great cry made. The great cry represents us telling the people that they're Israelites. And the great awakening took place. Really, the great awakening started with Abba Bibbins. We say it right for vocab, get on me. See, they don't even say it. They say Bibbins. Well, his name is Bibbins. Oh, well, we're going to call him Abba. It started with him. He didn't reach the people that we reach today. And then it went to the three, Marsha, Arian, Yaquab. Then it went to four others, which is known as the seven. And then it came down to us. When I say us, I'm talking about myself, individuals like Johanna, General Johanna, individuals like Barak, the HODC, individuals like Bishop Nathaniel, which he came up under me, so he would be like fourth generation. We're third generation. So, Bishop Nathaniel would be like my rebellious son. But myself, General Johanna, Elder Barak from the HODC, but then you got you got others like Zabak. There's many. I'm not gonna, you got Priest Danyala, which he came. He would be like fourth generation because he came up under myself. He was behind me. He was a young man at that time. And there's many others. I can go on and on. And well, you had some of the seven, as we used to call them. You had some of them go in the spiritual realm. And then as far as the rest of them, you got High Priest Ariel, which there was a rumor out that a couple of people sent me in my one of my videos, put the comment that Arya, High Priest Arya passed. So it was two of them. So I put up videos. And then I realized that he was still alive, which I didn't do that to make mockery of the man. I thought the man was dead, but that was good that it happened, because a lot of all of former One Westers had something good to say about High Priest Arya. General Yohana had a good thing to say about him. Myself, Bishop Nathaniel, and some others. And then it came out that he's still alive, and they're telling lies on him. And he said that. So it was not my intention to tell a lie on the man. I thought that was true, but it was good that it happened, because it showed you all these brothers acknowledge that this was one of the top teachers. Anyway, so you have the ones that are alive will be 5 of them. Arya, which is still alive. Then you had Lahab, which he fell off, he left over a big controversy. I'm not even going to get into it right now. And he kind of came back on the scene on YouTube, I would say 2009, maybe the end of 2009. And what he teaches, I don't know if he still teaches that, but he came back with this whole Christ thing. I'm reborn, and Edomites can make it and other nations can make it. And for the ones who used to say, well, he never said that, you put words in his mouth. Well, I ran into him more than once, held 3 times. And after I heard about that, after he went on YouTube, I asked him just to confirm. I said, the UT said Esau and other nations could make it. He said, yeah. And I said, you going off, man. I said, you off. You going off. You wrong. So whether he's still teaching that or he came back to senses, I don't know. Then you have, Shaw, Elder Shaw, High Priest Shaw, which is, he stayed with Arya, Yeshaya, or High Priest Yeshaya, and these are their former titles, High Priest Yeshaya and High Priest Gazak. High Priest Yeshaya got on the Sarnetta show. This was some years ago. We're talking, I don't know, 2014 maybe, 2013, something like that. So, but the thing is, and then many others that came into the doors of One West, and you had the school up the street, which we dubbed the New Jack City School. That's when New Jack City came out. We called it, myself, and Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rawchaa, we called it the New Jack City School. And every time we went up in there, we used to curse people out and get kicked out. Y'all got to get out. And then they had the 1941 Madison School, which the One Westers moved. So the former One West is not even there. It's like a beauty parlor, office building. It keeps changing. But you had thousands and thousands of people come into them doors, man. And out of those thousands of people, the majority of them went back into the world. The majority of them went back into the world. They went back to being Baptists, Methodists, Jehovah's Witnesses, Roman Catholics, niggers. Some of them following the Moors. They're Moors. I would imagine. Some of them are Kemetic. Some of them just confused Negroes, man. And they went back into the world, and they're comfortable with being back into the world. And that's in Hebrews, I believe that's Hebrews 6. Tasted the heavenly gift, merely paraphrasing. I'm not going to go to, I may go to it. in this video. But anyway, the thing is, they're back in the world. Whether they tell people that they're Israelites, but they don't keep the high holy days, the Sabbath, or go out or even teach. Or some of them are teachers, but they're half-ass teachers. They're not real, they're not diligent. But anyway, thousands of people came into those doors and thousands of people went back out into the world. Some of them dropped dead. Some caught AIDS, cancer, heart attacks, strokes, got hit by cars, struck by lightning. Maybe some of them even killed themselves. But then you got some of them that are out just live in the world, and they all know about us. Everybody in Imama watches YouTube. And they watch all our videos, and IUIC videos and IACBK and HODC and Peace Done Yahawah and Zabak, and they watch all of. I say most of them. They have to know who we are. Maybe some of them are talking shit or even praising us, or attempting to try to get back into the circle, but you can't get back in. It says, and Yahawashi said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is what? Fit for the kingdom of heaven. That means you're not going to make it. And why aren't you going to make it? Because you fell out. But another reason behind that is the fact that you're not going to make it is because you're going to take that charagma. Even if you accept the fact that the charagma, the MOTB is the charagma, which is the C hip, even though you know that that's what it is, even though you secretly agree that GMS is right and Sakari is right, and you even if you tell yourself, I'm not going to take it, you're going to take it anyway, because the Most High going to put the spirit on you to take it, and then you're condemned. And for you people out there that think you can take it, and then when the Lord comes, you can just put a prayer up, like the second man on the cross, just put up a quick prayer and you make it. Well, guess what? You can put that quick prayer up, and if you're an Israelite, you are going to make it after you die. After the missiles hit you, you'll be all right after the missiles hit you. And then when you in the kingdom, everything will be all right. You have a new body, another body, chip free, and you'll be all right. You'll be good. So that's a good thing about being an Israelite. So you can F up, but ultimately you're gonna make it. But you're gonna have to be, cast into that lake of fire with Esau, with your buddy Esau. That's why we always speak on the charagma. So what I'm going to do is this. Not going to make this long. I got a whole bunch of scriptures that relate to this topic right here, but I'm not going to go into it. Let the spirit jump on me. But anyway, this is me. I always go to the commentary, and I normally first one I go to is Cambridge. So this is what Cambridge said, and they were on point. They were 100% on point on this one. They said Cambridge Bible for schools and colleges. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me click on this. Okay, doesn't take me to let me bring it on back. It says, no man having put his hand to the plow he who would make straight furrows. A furrow is like you take ground, you take if you're on a farm, right? Plantation, a farm, and you want to plant seeds, you have to break the ground so you can put the seeds in there and then cover the ground back up and then the whatever crop, whatever seed you planted, if it's corn, if it's wheat, after about 2 months, you would get that crop grown, and then you would go and you would reap. Give me a second. Excuse me for that. It says, he who would make straight the Pharaohs must not look about him. He seeth works and days. This is a book. The light plows of the east, easily overturned, require constant attention. So this truth is likened unto a farmer. Read the scriptures, read the gospels, read Luke. Well, we're in the book of Luke, but read Luke 10. The Lord said, the harvest is white, ready to harvest. But the laborers are few, the farmers, the guys that go out there and farm or work on a plantation. Ain't that something? The work of the Lord that we're doing is plantation work. And guess what? We got out of slavery, and slavery is mostly plantation work. The slave that hated their master are the ones that worked in the field, because it's hard. You out there in the hot sun, and you working all day so you don't get whipped, or you don't get killed, or you don't get something chopped off from you. That's Deuteronomy 28 right there. So it's laborious work. But then you had the house Negro, which the house Negro loved the master. And guess what? The master loved the house Negro, because a lot of these slave masters was popping a woman and even popping some of the men, the house Negro men. And they were falling in love with some of these black women and making them mistresses of the house. They showed you that in the movie 12 Years a Slave, which is a great movie. One of the all-time great slave movies. And Negroes get up for a slave movie, man. And actors love to play slaves. They love to play. I get to play a slave? Well, let me play a house Negro. That was a great movie. Great movie. Great movie. Roots, great series. But they showed you how it was. And you can't call that a blessing. You out there can't see. You cannot call that a blessing. So guess what? The Lord said everything He said about the prophets going out there speaking is likened unto a plantation worker, a slave. So it says, the light plows of the east, easily overturned, requiring constant attention. So if you claim to be a man of the Lord, you out there teaching, and you take winters off. That's why the Apostle Paul said in season, out of season, because he was using the scenario of a plowman, of a farmer, of a plantation worker. He said, when you do this plantation work, which is the truth, teaching the truth, he referred to us as seeds in Matthew's 13th chapter. He said, when you do this work, you got to do this work in season, out of season. So when you farm things, you took the winter off. So you had, that's why you had barns where you that's how the Egyptians became rich and over all the nations, because of the dream, going back to Joseph, the great interpreter of dreams that was given to him by the Most High, about the 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. So the Pharaoh had an inside information that you have 7 years of plenty, then you get followed by 7 years of famine. So guess what? You better have, you better have enough space in your bonds to have 14 years of crop, because people ran out. Sometimes you have bad years, sometimes you have good years. You have a bad year, you deal with it. That's why you have barns, you put it in there. Got a bad year, not too good of a crop. Then the second year, normally you have a good year, or it might be 2 years. But there ain't no 7 years, 7 straight years of famine, of drought, of bad crops. Well, guess what? When you have no food, you're ready to give up your gold, you're ready to become slaves, because you got to eat. You got to eat, and your kids got to eat. And this is beautiful because, I was watching Richie from the B. I'm not even gonna say his name because he's totally banned from the tube. And what I'm gonna do is, I think I put it up on my Odyssey page. If I didn't, I'm positive I did. Matter of fact, I know I did. But what I'll do is I'll leave the link in this video. If I remember, I'll remember. If I don't, just ask me, or go to the Odyssey page. You'll see it. And he was going into these fires and these train derailments. He even mentioned the movie White Noise. And then he said, this is war against the people, but he called it, what did he say? He said, fourth generation war. That's what he called it. Fourth generation war. So it's a war on the people, but it doesn't look like a war. So what they're going to do is, what their plan is, this is what Second Ezra 15 and 16 is all about. People starving because it's going to be planned that way. Anything that happens in politics it was planned that way. And they're going to say, oh, this happened, that explosion happened. We had to kill these chickens, we had to kill these cows because of the disease and the diseases and the C-19 and this and that. That's when food, the main thing that you want to do at the end of the day, you want to have a roof over your head and you want to have some food in your belly, right? Well, when all that shit is stopped, you're ready to do anything. So I see people accepting the charagma so they can eat. That's why I said in Revelation, you cannot buy or sell except he that had the charagma. And that's why it keeps coming up. If you don't know, you always talking about that same subject. Please do me a favor. Don't watch my video no more. Don't come to my video. Don't watch my videos. And don't watch any GMS videos. Just go follow the IUIC or the ISUPK and see what they say when they set up them charagma stations. I'm gonna see what the fuck they're gonna say. I'm gonna see what bullshit cockamamie story they're gonna come up with. What crap and blue skies they're gonna give you. Okay, because I'm waiting. And I pray that this thing hurry up, and they put them Karagma stations up and see how you niggas react. Told you there's going to be a great shaking in the land of Israel. So let me okay, so it says the light plows of the east easily overturn, requiring constant attention. Apostle Paul said, in season, out of season, right? You got to still do this work, this farm work. But this farm work that we're doing is teaching the word, because we're cultivating seeds, which are the people out there that don't know the truth. So he said, when it's out of season, you still got to work. You got to work that land. That's why he said that. It says rather, and then, also, you got guys that just do disappearing acts. You got guys that'll be out there. Like when YouTube first came on the scene, you had brothers out there constantly, every week, all during the week, doing videos here, doing videos there. Then you got certain guys that just stop doing it. They might not do it for like 5-6 years. Then all of a sudden they'll pop up. And it's usually in the springtime. They'll pop up and they'll do it. And then they'll do it for maybe 2 years, take some winters off. Then you won't see them for maybe another 3-4 years. Then if something major happens prophetically, they'll come out. Most High's not dealing with them. They took their hand off the plow. Yeah, but I know I'm an Israelite. Yeah, but guess what? You ain't doing, okay, you're an Israelite. I grant you that, but are you a prophet? Because you got to constantly do this. When I say constantly, every day, we here at GMS do video. Everybody in GMS, every member of GMS should be putting up a video. Oh, don't tell me, I just came in this thing for 3 months. That's no excuse. That's no excuse, huh? You can learn a whole lot in 3 months. If you only know the basics, teach the basics. We ain't tolerating nobody that's just, he's just on the sidelines. You got to do this work. You got to do this work. And we don't put up videos to entertain you. We're not celebrity Israelites. You got some celebrity Israelites out there. We are not them celebrity Israelites. I was watching this one video. I believe it was IUIC Trinidad, if I'm not mistaken. And I noticed if it was Trinidad or one of them islands, and I noticed it was a video that was put up 2 days ago, and it had I think it was 12,000 hits, something like that. And I said, oh damn! I said Trinidad or whatever island it was. Oh, they getting down. So I clicked on it, and it was Bishop Nathaniel speaking, because they went down there. And then I looked and I noticed, I went to the next video, and the next video maybe had 50 views. And I went a week back, maybe 60 views. A couple of them maybe had 200 views, 250 views, 50 views, 120 views. And I went back about a year, and it was still low numbers. It was like, I went back a year back, maybe 250, maybe 150. But then I said, well, and then I already said it in my mind. I said, well, all these other videos, I clicked on some of them videos, and those were the guys that were part of that lived down there. So I said, well, wait a minute. People know about that site. So the one that got the most hits was the one with Bishop Nate. And guess what? Those other individuals that are part of that camp, they teach the same thing that Bishop Nate, that we all teach the same thing, right? Because they learned it from the leadership of the IUIC, so they all teach the same thing. If somebody asks them a question about anything, they're going to give the same answer as a leader in the IUIC will give. And this is not to say nothing negative, because we don't always say negative things about the IUIC. But what I did notice was he's a celebrity to them, and it's not his fault whether he's the celebrity or not, or whether people look at me as a celebrity. I'm not here to entertain you. What does a celebrity do? They entertain. Whether he wants to be celebrated or not, he's still being celebrated. So people are not following IUIC or GMS or ICBK because they're learning. They're following. A lot of these people are cheerleaders, man. A lot of these people come to the sites to be entertained. A lot of these people come into the truth. They start speaking, they get disenchanted, and they won't do the work no more, but they'll still watch the videos and get entertained. Those are the ones that turn their back on the plow. And the reward for that is you're going to get that charagma and you're going to wind up in the lake of fire. So it says, rather well adapted by way of comment, see Luke. Now I checked out these precepts. Like I said, Cambridge was on point on this one. Luke 17:32. Remember Lot's wife. When I saw that, I said, ooh. So I said, I got to make a video on this. It says, so what does it say? Let me do this. He that put his hand to the plow and looketh back. Did Lot's wife look back? Remember Lot's wife. What does that mean? If you know the scriptures, it means Lot's wife looked back, and she was told not to look back. She was instructed, don't look back. Now, the best way I can describe it is this. The Most High put a force field behind them, but not in front of them. So as long as they kept going straight, the force field or the angel was protecting them, but they weren't protecting the front. So as soon as you turned around, the force field wasn't on the front of you. So that's when she what happened to her, she was basically dehydrated. That's why I said she turned into a pillar of salt. Because what now in the movie, we were speaking about this over the weekend in the movie War of the Worlds, the people that were being zapped by the tripods, they were turning to white powder. I guarantee you that powder was salty. Because lick your hand. You're gonna taste, it's gonna taste salty. And salt is iodine. You need salt in your body. I was telling Apostle Gabar, because what we do is we go into a lot of health things. We don't talk about the scriptures too much because we know the scriptures, but we go into a lot of health things and diet and so forth. So I kept telling Apostle Gabar and Apostle Ramlab, I said, you guys need to go get a checkup. You guys need to go to get a checkup. I said, you guys got to start going to the dentist and get, if your teeth are all right, get cleanings. I get cleanings once every 4 months religiously. All right. You know, at one time it was once every 6 months. Now they tell you once every 4 months. They really, if you really want to get down, it should be once every 3 months. That's what they told me. They said, if you really want to get down, it's once every 3 months, but I go once every 4 months. And I do oil pulls and stuff like that. Look that up, oil pull. And I also drink straight up olive oil, which burns the back of your throat, the real olive oil. You know that you got a real olive oil from Spain or Greece. When you take a shot, it burns the back of your throat. Or you cough a couple of times. And I also do coconut oil, and I swallow it. I swallow like 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil, which contains an acid called, what the hell is it called? I always forget the name. Capricic acid, I believe that's how you say it, capricic acid, if I'm saying it right. It's also known as a MCT, which is a medium chain triglyceride, which is a fat. So that's a good oil, okay? So anyway, we're talking, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got to go get checkups. Y'all got to go get checkups every week. You got to go get checkups, whether you go to a regular doctor or you go to a naturopath. So they both did that. So they were talking about it. And Apostle Kabar said, they said, I got diabetes, right? So he got the machine. So I'll get back in the subject. But there's lessons within lessons. So he checks his blood for sugar, whether the sugar is high glucose, whatever. And then he said the other day, he said, yeah, I checked and it was 108. And I said, nah, I said, that's not diabetic. I said, diabetic is when it's up there. If it's like 150, 200, then you got it. I said, if anything, that's pre-diabetic. So he was telling me before that his legs are swollen. I said, that's lack of circulation. I said, you might be pre-diabetic. If circulation's not going through your system, then your whole system's messed up. You gotta have your whole system. You have to have blood circulating through your whole system. And what happens to Jake? They got diabetes for years. They eat the same shit. They don't take the pills. They don't stick the needles. They don't take care of themselves. And what wind up happening? They wind up getting their foot chopped off or their legs chopped off, because their legs become dead. Maggots start to eat at your legs. And that goes back to diet. I'm going to come back to the subject. And what was the case with Ryan Love? He said he went, I forget what they said about him, but I told them, guys, and then so Gabar got a little kind of nervous. I gotta go back to the doctor. She got to. I said, well, wait a minute. She did the blood work and she told you what you had. You don't need her no more. You don't need that bitch no more. I said, now you know how to reverse it by switching up your diet. So I remember, long story short, I said the other day, he was checking his blood pressure. His blood pressure was like too low. I said, your blood pressure, that which is good, but it's a little too low. I said, you need to start doing the Himalayan pink salt. And he said, nah, I can't do pink salt because I said, you still got to have salt in the system. You got to have the natural iodine in your system. So anyway, that's why we know that what it meant in the scriptures where it said she turned into a pillar of salt, because once radiation attacks you, it totally dehydrates you, and the only thing left is a remnant of salt, like a stone of salt. So if you look it up, if you go to Google and you put in Lot's wife, pillar of salt, there's a place that the Arabs claim, well, that's Lot's wife over there, and they call it Lot's wife, and it looks like a statue of a woman, but it's made out of salt. Okay, so I went all around the world for nothing, but I mean, there's lessons within lessons, right? It said rather well adapted by way of comment, see Luke 17:32. So this is how I got into this whole talk about the doctor and naturopath. And a lot of y'all brothers in GMS, and not to mention the other camps, a lot of y'all are out of shape, man. Some of y'all are mega fat, and some of y'all are not look like in shape, but you're all fucking sick. You're sickly. You can't be eating. Look, anybody in GMS that's eating burger. If I catch you at Burger King, you out the camp. If I catch you at Wendy's, you're out the camp. Okay? Forget about some damn 6 months. If I catch your ass at Wendy's, you out the camp. If I catch you at McDonald's, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm obviously joking. You want to eat that garbage, you go right ahead. But if you are part of GMS, now I can understand if you're part of the ISUPK. You can eat the macaroni and cheese and fried chicken and crushed orange sodas all you want. That's what they do. But we're on the highest standard. I'm just snapping on them, making fun of them. The heart, not being not being serious about it. You gotta have a little fun with this. But anyway, when you read the scriptures about the prophets tell you about the herbs. Daniel, there was an experiment in Daniel 1 about pulse. Pulse is what? Pulse is a plant-based foods. They use the term plant-based foods. Well, guess what? Daniel did an experiment. What was this? 10 guys, I think five was on a plant-based food, which was the diet that Daniel set up. And then the other 5, or was it 10 and 10? I'm not going to read it. Somebody put it in the comment section. They were on the king's food, which the king's food was heavily, it had a lot of carbohydrates. And that's what you look at. Anytime I eat something, I go right to the back where it says carbs. I don't look at the sugar. I look at the carbohydrates. I look at the calories per serving. I look at the carbohydrates. I don't know too many carbs. And see, that's the king's meat, or the king's food was highly, it was full of carbs. Remember when the king of Babylon was taken out, him and his lords, they were eating at a banquet. You know what they were doing? They were loading up on carbs, and they were loading up on probably wine, and they were drunk, and they were going through a thing called, which we call niggeritis, and they were sleepy, and they were laid back. Niggas on turkey days, nigga eat turkey, and they go right to sleep because of the turkey. What's that thing in the tryptophan? Tryptophan put you to sleep, and tryptophan, if I'm saying it right, is heavy in turkey meat. So coming back to Daniel knew about the right diet. When you read about the Maccabees went up into the mountains, and what did they do? They were eating herbs, and they knew the herbs that were poisonous and the herbs that helped them. So if you're gonna call yourself a prophet, you better know about the herbs, and you better know about your body, eating the right foods, and exercising as well. The Apostle Paul said, exercise profiteth little, but it does profit it, compared to a spiritual thing. He did say it profiteth. It profiteth little as compared to spiritual exercise. So now let's come back into it. Rather well adapted by way of comment, see Luke 17:32. Remember Lot's wife. Because she looked back. Psalm 78:9. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of the battle. Hebrews 10:38-39. It should just give me 38. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. What does it say in Revelation 3, starting at the 15th verse? Ultimately, it says, if you are lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth. So right here it says, anyone that draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. I don't like him. I want the nigga dead. The general lesson of this section is give yourself wholly. Wholly meaning completely to your duty, meaning focus, and count the cost. Luke 14:25-33. I'll just read the first verse. And there went a great multitude with him, and he turned and said, you got to read the rest of it speaks about counting the cost. The Messiah cannot accept a conditional service. Well, I can do it, but I can't do it on Sundays and Mondays and when it's cold, because I'm vulnerable to cold weather and I get flu, so I'm gonna take the winter. Nope. You gotta come, you gotta be like a soldier. Endure hardness as a soldier. A soldier's built in any situation, built to deal with any situation. It said, neither hardship. We don't want your hardship stories, brother, nor bereavement. Nor home tides. Ooh, nor home ties. Well, I got a woman. I got 12 children. I got another woman cross downtown, uptown. That's gonna lead you out that truth, man. Because you should, if you're gonna have a woman, you should have one woman. Now, if you got another woman, that's not my business. But I guarantee you, the man that got 4 or 5 different women, this man ain't super diligent, man. Nor home tides must delay us from following him. Is it more than a curious accident that the last 4 incidents illustrate the particularities of the 4 marked human temptations? The choleric, let's see what this is. And it came to pass when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. Luke 9:57, I'm reading the first verses, 9:57 and 58. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, I can hardly see this, a certain man said to him, I will follow you wherever you go. And I believe as you read on, it says, but let me bury my father. He said, let the dead bury the dead. The melancholic Luke 9:59. And he said to another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father, because it would be disrespectful. And the Lord said, no, forget about your father. Let them people, there's people that's going to bury him. Don't worry about that. You got to do this work. The phlegmatic. So that's Luke 9:61 and 62. It says, another also said, Lord, I will follow you, but let me first go bid them farewell. You ain't got time to go bid your family farewell, which are at home at my house. Then he cut him. He said, anybody that put his hand to the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom. I mean, I can close on that. I can drop the mic on that one. So like I said, sometimes it's good to read these commentaries. I normally go to this one because it's normally the shortest, and they were right on point this time. They were right on point. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.